my name is Richard Martin. I'm here to help you guys do a mortise and tenon, to basically step by step on them on behalf of the college, and the fact that I'm a previous level 1 carpenter or bench joiner. I'm going into bench joiner, should I say, just to help you guys catch up and so you understand the processes and step by step of doing a mortise and tenon. Now, there are different types of tenon. There is a through mortise and tenon, and then there, when you do a mortise and tenon through, there are different types of ways of doing it. You can either put a peg on the other side that stops it from coming out, or you can do wedges. I will be showing you them later on in other videos, but at the moment I'm going to show you a mortise and tenon that won't go through the wood, but will go down to a certain depth. That is good in many ways because you can either glue it or you can peg it with a dowel or a screw going through it. I would suggest a dowel because it looks more neater, but there are different ways that you want to do it. Now, it's going to be hard and you're going to find yourself at home probably with some tools that you've already picked up, or you're using the college tools. If you're using the college tools, I would suggest when you use them, pick out your own ones, make sure they're sharp. Because I was having this problem in year 1. So I decided to invest in myself into some woodworking tools. Basically, I picked up most of mine from car boot sales, apart from my chisels, which I went to Stanley and got their basically their bog standard Stanley tools. So basically, this is a bog standard Stanley tools of chisels. Nice little set. Didn't cost me much. I would say round about 26 quid. They are worth it to have your own. Learn how to sharpen them because they do come in handy. Also, a nice tenon saw. I recommend it. Again, I got it off Amazon. It's quite solid and sturdy. The marking gauges that you have at college, they're okay, but they're not 100%. I found them to be a bit wobbly and inaccurate, but this is why I went and invested in more tools, which is a Veritas marking gauge, a single one, and a mortise gauge. Now, the mortise gauges are lovely. They're easy to use and easy to sharpen up. As you can see, I've used this one quite a lot, so I need to get new blades for them. But there is a way I can actually sharpen them on my diamond stone. You probably use the college one at college, but I recommend you invest in making your own, because once you've made your own, you know it, you know how to use it, and you can constantly use it. As for marking knives, again, they're not the sharpest in college. Sam does her best, but I know with COVID and stuff, she's been busy doing other things. So here's a little helpful tip. Either borrow your dad's Stanley tool if you're old enough to use your dad's Stanley tool, or go and get your own. Here's one I've got, or my marking knife. I'm going to go with my, let me see. Yeah, I'm going to go with this one because this needs sharpening again and my grinder's broken at the moment. So I'm going to have to do it by hand, and that could take me hours, or at least an hour or two, just to get it finally sharpened where I want it. So again, these blades are cheap as chips, and so is the Stanley. Machine Mark down the bottom of town would do that for you anyway. And don't forget the all-important pencil. Make sure it's sharpened and to the point. And also you're going to need a ruler, preferably a nice solid steel one. My one I got from Machine Mark, and I find it quite solid. Plus it's got little holes so I can tell you what size the screws are. So it always works for me. Now, you're also going to need 2 bits of wood. As you can see, I've planed these down. This is, I don't have access to the college wood or other types of wood at the moment. So most of my wood that I have is either ply or pallet wood. And this is pallet wood. I should say I've planed it. I've hand planed it. So it's helped squared it off. And yeah, so that should work. Right, so if you like to peer down a second, I will show you what I'm going to do step by step, and I will get back to you in a minute. Okay, so as you can see, at the moment I have a pencil and a green pad of paper. I'm going to quickly draw what I mean by a mortise and tenon. So basically, as you can see from these little sketches, I just draw a box just to symbolize that, and then we have another box which is the other bit of wood here. Now what the purpose of the mortise and tenon is, we need this wood to go through this wood to make a stern joint. This is mostly used on tables, chairs, or frameworks. And you do find it a lot in Japanese buildings, the old style buildings, and also find a lot of these joints in furniture as well. So basically, if you can see, let me just tip the paper up. Right, so you can see here, here's the block going into another block of wood. So basically, I've left a gap here, as you can see. Basically, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be putting this wood up against here, and we're going to be measuring out the width of this wood. Obviously, not all of this wood is going into it because we're going to be coming back a certain way. When we do mortise and tenon, not a through mortise and tenon, should I say, we're going to be going 3/4 the way in. So we won't go all the way. We'll be going like just here past halfway, because then that works out well, as you can see. And it gives us a bit of a buff gap here. If we were to go like this far in and we accidentally, or it gets smacked and stuff, it would cause a crack to form here and probably break. Whereas here we've still got quite a substantial buffer to stop the tenon from going all the way through. And also when we do this, we will be checking the depth. Okay, so we need to know the 3/4 of the depth here for this tenon to go into the mortise. So this is what we're going to be doing. So as you can see, I've had to quickly change over quickly just to get the blocks up. So as you can see, these blocks are pallet wood. They're not 100% on the fact that this has still got a bit of groove here, but don't worry about that. When you get your wood, it will probably be a lot squarer than mine. But as I said, this is pallet wood and this is the only thing I've got lying around. So as you can see, I put them up there and they are actually level and square. When you do these, it's nice to know your face marks and your edge marks. This is important, so when you present your work, you've got the best face to show, and you always mark off your face and face edge. I'm going to put this as my face edge here and my edge here. So I just do it like a swirly line or something. So what I do is line them up. As you can see, I've done that there. Just turn the camera around so you can see a little bit more. So basically they're going to be going like that. Okay, so when I do it like that, I'm going to be drawing a line here and on the other side, so you can see where it's going to go. So we've got a line here and a line here. Okay, so this is basically going to be the depth of what we're going to do. I now need to know the halfness of this, or basically I need to put this into three sections. Mainly the middle section will be what I need. So I put the ruler up against it, and this is basically 40. So 40 I now have to times by 3, or divide it by 3, should I say. Right, so as I was saying before, when I had to figure out the maths, this is 40, this is 40. Right, so what I've done is I've worked out the middle of it, which is 20, of course, and then come back 10. That's how I've done it. I know there's a different way of doing it, mainly because usually in college you would probably do, I would say, The tenant would probably be around about 15, maybe, you know, if you had like a 30 piece of wood or 45, you would probably divide it by 3 and then use whatever you have for the middle one as your tenant. Obviously, there are different ways of doing a tenant, but this is the way that I know and I find quite easy. But the other tenants come in handy for when you're doing other bits of work. They go furniture, or if you want it to be more neater for different aspects of it. Anyway, what we're going to be doing is a normal tenant going in. So we will be having excess off. We wanted to go 3/4 the way in. So if it's the width wise is 65, we're going 3/4 in. So I would say probably 20 away from the edge on the far end. So basically these are 65 widths, as you can see. Let me just show you. Okay, 65 there. I'm going to be coming back 20 from the edge, because then that gives me a pretty much good edge. So we need to say 65, then come back 20. So go to the edge here of the way you're going to be doing the tenant, so you know that it's going to be 65. Yeah, 65, come back 20, and that should be where your tenant should end. Okay. Also, I did forget to say it, but I should say it again. You are going to need another tool. In your case, it would be a set square. So, as you can see, where I was a minute ago when I was talking about a set square, this is a set square. Okay. You'll see them on the shelves. They are really cheap to pick up. You can get the little engineering squares, which are lovely to use, but you need to check and make sure they are square. This one, as I say, I've had it for quite a while. It's starting to rust a little bit, so I need to clean it up a little bit. But a bit of wire wool and some honing oil should work on that one anyway. Right, as I said, we were going 3/4 the way in and leaving 20 mil from the edge. Okay, so it doesn't go all the way through. I've marked 45 in on there, but I need the engineering square to set it completely. When you do this, make sure you have marked out your face square and edge square. As you can see, I haven't done that yet. So this will be my face edge here, and this side will be my edge face here. So when you do this, always mark off your face edges, because then you get a consistency of what is straight and what is not. So I'm going to do that there. Okay, and then obviously when I'm going down, I'm going to come off this face edge here. So we will line it up, as you can see. And in. There. Okay, so as you can see, that should be nice there and there. Okay, the reason why I'm doing it in pencil, because one, it's easier. I would, if you're doing it where you didn't want pencil joints and stuff, I would recommend using your Stanley and the marking square, or the Stanley knife and the marking square, should I say. But that's how it is. So make sure you measure it down. It should be around about 45. Yeah, 45 and 45 there. And just to double check, we will put another line there for 45, just so I can come off the face edge here, and then we will line this up here. So 45 there. Okay, go 2 or 3 times with your pencil. Now, because we've got no edge here, we're going to come off this face edge here. Okay, so we're going to measure off this face edge, And also, if you want to double check when you do this, I do quite a lot do this, but if you want to be absolutely 100% accurate when you do it, put your ruler against the edge of the set square and just move it down a little bit, just to make sure you are on completely 45. I find it is nice and accurate, but sometimes because you get a wobble in the blade when you're cutting this, sometimes this can be like a mil or half a mil up than the other side. So just go with what you can on your gut from this flat edge first. Okay, so if it looks wonky, don't do it, use the ruler. Okay, anyway, right, so now we've done that all the way around. As you can see, it's a nice consistency all the way around. So we put that over to one side. We're not going to need that for a minute, as I can say. Right, so here we know that we're going to be doing, these are 40 wide, as you can see, 40 wide. You now set this up to be, let me just do this properly, yeah, 40 wide. We now set this up so we come in 10 and 10 that side, and then you should have around about 20 in the middle, as you can see. And then you set this up to be 20. So basically 40, 10 space from this bit here, and then you start from a 20 here all the way up to 30. No, yeah, start from there 10 and all the way up there to 30, because then that'll give you your 20 in the middle, okay, of 40. So what we're going to be doing is, as you can see, I've marked this line here and here. I will make them darker actually, because I think that's easier. Let me find my face edge, because we're going into it. So let me just make them a little bit darker so you can see them. Okay, because it's better to have the mark and not. Bearing in mind, this is just a practice for you guys. So when you do this in college, you will know exactly what you're doing. So as you can see, I've done it that way. Okay, we're now going to do the lines coming across where the tenon would go in. Okay, so as I say, I've set this up, and then what you want to do is push it up against the face edge, which is this side. Push it right against it and just go backwards to the line. And obviously this has got a double bit on it, so you need to do the small one first to there, so, and then to the line, and just repeat it at least 2 to 3 times, and then do the small one. Okay, and I am going to go over it in pencil so you can see it more. So obviously when you do this, make sure you go over with pencil so you can see what you're doing. Right, so what we're going to be doing, as you can see, it will be like that. Okay, this is going to be your waist. Okay, but you are going to be going down at least, I would say, quite a bit, 3/4 of the way in. So you would have to be quite savvy on how you're going to do this. As you see, these lines here and these lines here, I would recommend marking them with your Stanley knife. The reason is you're going to be cutting the fibers in between, so you won't get bowled out or whatever it's going to do. Basically, so it'll be nice, neat and trimmed, but it also stops splintering and cracking, because you've broken the fibers here. So you've broken the fibers there, as I can say, and there. So a Stanley knife around would be easier, which is what I'm going to do now. So just get my Stanley knife out. Make sure you use the set square off your face edge. Again, as I say, use the face edge as much as possible. That's what it's there for. And then put it in the corner and pull across to the other line. And do this at least 2 to 3 times. Okay, on both sides. Again, flip this over to the face edge. Can you hear it cutting? That's cutting the fibres in. So it'll be nice and sharp. Okay. Obviously, if you wanted to, you can do it the lengthways. I like doing it lengthways as well. So we'll do it lengthways as well. With this side, obviously you can't, you just got to kind of eye it up or line it up, and then just run your knife a little bit more deeper where you've done the marking gauges, and just run your Stanley through it. So that would actually make it a little bit more neater for you for when you do this. Nice and slowly. Don't go fast. I did that a couple of times and I buggered it up when I was doing this. When I was doing what you guys were doing in college. That's why I had to practice and practice all the time. Now, we're going to now put this in the vise, and I will leave you there, and we will crack on with the other video, the next step. I hope if you have any questions about this, where I am and how far I'm getting, or you're stuck on the next bit, or this bit, should I say, leave a comment in the Facebook page or on the YouTube channel, and I will get back to you, telling you some bits and pieces if you're stuck, or if you want to know anything about the tools. As I say, leave a comment. Also, if you like what you see and stuff on the pages, subscribe, and also add yourself to the Facebook group if you wanted to, and we'll go from there. All the best, and I'll see you in the next video.